What is up, guys? This is MTG Academics here, and today basically I will be bringing you a deck tech. This is a green white counters deck. I built this deck partially myself, partially off of a article I read on Source City Games. But yeah, it's been doing pretty well. I would definitely wouldn't say it's a tier 1 deck. It can probably sit pretty at tier 2. It really depends on your local meta. That's how most decks are, come to think of it though, so yeah. Anyways, we're just going to hop right in. Before we get into this, I just want to apologize for not uploading as much as I probably should have. But yeah, so thank you guys, and let's hop right in. Alright, for our 1-drops, we have Servant the Scale and Favored Hoplite. It's pretty standard 1-drops for this deck. Servant the Scale, what I like about him is basically what he does is leaves like a lasting imprint on the board of what he does, and it's just a pretty solid card, because when he dies, he puts all of his counters on another creature, which means you can just play a creature, have him swing into something big, kill it, put his counters on that creature, and just have a big old counter fest. But yeah, so the other 1-drop is Favored Hoplite. He's been around in Standard for a while. Whenever you cast a spell that targets him, put a +1/+1 counter on him and prevent all damage that will be dealt to him this turn. Pretty good card in this deck, considering we have spells that say target, and he just grows, has +1/+1 counters. I don't know what else there is to say about him. He's just pretty much a powerhouse in this deck. So yeah, on to the 2-drops. For our first 2-drop, we have Anafenza, Kin Tree Spirit, not the Abzan Anafenza. Whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, bolster 1. Excuse me. This card really gets a job. It gets a job done, to say the least. You usually go turn 1, Servant, turn 2, Anafenza, turn 3. You'll see. But just putting counters on everything when it enters is extremely good in this deck, and there's not too much to say about her. She's just, again, a powerhouse in this deck, considering the fact that she puts counters almost on every single thing that enters. And yeah, so the next card is Avatar the Resolute. Excuse me. He's a pretty solid card. He can fight, fly as well, and a 2-mana 3/2. Not terrible, actually. It's pretty good. But when it enters the battlefield, it gets a +1/+1 counter on it for each other creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it. This can be good for you, or this could also be bad for you. And the sense it would be good for you is it could come in turn like 5 or 6 and become massive, or you could have it in your hand as your only 2-drop, and then it enters as a 3/2 that has to be made bigger. But Reach and Trample, extremely powerful. It doesn't seem too crazy, but once you play it and it comes in gigantic, you'll like it. You'll like it a lot. But yeah, so on to the 3-drops. For our 3-drops, we have Fabled Hero and Chronicler of Heroes. First of all, Fabled Hero is a very powerful card, simply because of Double Strike. If it didn't say Double Strike, I probably wouldn't run it. It probably wouldn't be a rare either. But when you cast a spell that targets it, put a +1/+1 counter on it, and let me tell you, this thing can grow big quick, and when it does, it is intimidating. Considering Double Strike deals first strike and another strike's damage, it's hard to block. It's just an overall crazy card, especially in this deck. It's good. This card is good when there's a deck build around it, but when there's not, then there's really not much synergy with any of the cards. Then it's not going to do good. But our other 3-drop is Chronicler of Heroes. I like this one as well. It's not anything crazy. It's a 3/3 for 3. With the only upside being that when it enters the battlefield, you draw a card if you have a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it. But excuse me, sorry. You go turn 1 something, turn 2 Anafenza, turn 3, and when Chronicler enters, it triggers Anafenza, putting a counter on Anafenza or your 1-drop, and that then, since there's 1/1 counter, you automatically get to draw a card and have a 3/3 for 3 sitting on the board. which card draw on this deck is good. Card draw on any deck is good, to be honest. But yeah, I'm not gonna say it's a crazy powerful card, but it's nice and it gets the job done. So yeah, on to the 4-drop. For our 4-drop, we have High Sentinels of Arashin, or Arashin, not sure how to pronounce it correctly, but whatever. Flying, 3/4 for 4. It gets +1/+1 for each other creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it, and then you can pay 4 to put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. This card's pretty nice. I like it in the sense that you can basically grow it itself, because you can just put counters on other creatures growing it. Also, it combats Siege Runner well. All you need to do is have another +1/+1 counter in, and it comes in as a 4/5, which can bounce off a Siege Runner, or a 5/6 if you have 2 counters, which isn't a rare occasion. This usually comes in as a 5/6, or if you're lucky, a 6/7. But yeah, so I don't see too many downsides. So I apologize. Downsides to this, other than the fact that it comes in as a 3/4. But yeah, so that's about it for the creatures. We'll move on to the spells. For our spells, we have Collected Company, Reaper of Sown, Inspiring Call, Feed Resistant, Solitary Heroes. Collected Company is a complete powerhouse. I think we all know that by now. Look at the top 6 cards of your library. Put up to 2 of them with converted mana cost 3 or less from among them onto the battlefield, which is every single creature in our deck except for High Sentinels of Arashin. And you can also put Anafenza on, and then trigger, all kinds of fun stuff. But yeah, so you guys, it's a pretty common card. It's gonna be showing up. It was cheaper. I got them for about $6 a piece when I had them, but now I think they're sitting around $12. So I'd probably get your hands on them quick, because they're really relevant and modern. And yeah, so next we have Reaper of Sown. This is another good card. Put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 3 target creatures. The keyword in there is target, which means that it triggers Fabled Hero and Favored Hoplite. And yeah, overall, just distribute 3 counters. It's a pretty solid card, and it helps you to get more swings, like more powerful swings, or just better blockers, honestly. And the next card, Inspiring Call. This is a really strong card. Draw a card for each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it. It's already good for 3 mana. Already good, because most of the time you're at least drawing 2 cards. But the added effect, this creature's gain indestructible till on a turn, is crazy. Simply because draw those cards. Usually you might have more mana, play something, or have Feed Resistance, Solitary Heroes, or anything else, and just pump away, because they're indestructible. They can swing into anything. And yeah, it's just a really good card. Feed Resistance, there's other options here. You could play God's Willing or Center Soul, but I like Feed Resistance just because it puts a +1/+1 counter, and it stays there, and it gains protection from the color of your choice on a turn, which is good. Allows you to block, swing through, or pretty much do anything. Yeah, that's pretty much the only reason why I'm playing this over the cheaper ones or Center Soul, is because it leaves a +1/+1 counter. And Solitary Heroes, this card's iffy. You don't really get to, if you have, let's put it this way, you can never really dump your mana into it, because one, it's only really efficient if you have at least 2 counters on there. Putting another counter on something for basically 4 mana, because you're going to usually target it for 1 creature, and then you usually want to hit 2. But if you're only doubling 1 counter, it's not really that useful, and it's kind of a waste of resources. But if you're doubling 2 counters and turning into 4, it's a really good investment for 2 mana. But yeah, so yeah, those are the spells. This can be changed. I recommend at least keeping. You don't really need the companies, but you really should keep Reaper of Sown, Inspiring Call, and Feed Resistance. Mana Base, Temple, Planning, Windswept Heath, Mana Confluence. This is the standard green-white land package. I don't other than Mana Confluence. If you don't like, if Temple of Plenty is slowing your deck down, you can maybe drop to like 2 or 3. But you want Heaths. Confluencers are iffy. You don't really need them, but they're nice to make sure you hit your your 1 drops and your 2 drops. Works well with Anafenza because you can tap for white, and hopefully you have another white source, because 2 white mana isn't that hard, but it's usually, for me, situations come up where I need it. But yeah, so you can cut Mana Confluences if you please. If you have the money, or if you already have them, then probably keep them in there. But yeah, so that's about it, guys. There's nothing else left to the video, but I just want to thank you guys for watching, and you guys can like it if you want. If you get a chance, and if you decide to, comment, and if you build this deck, tell me how it goes at FNM, or if you playtest it a lot, and if you have any substitutes, or if you see any spoiled cards from Origins that you would like to throw in here, just comment and let me know. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Once again, I apologize for not recording in a while. It's been a little rough, but yeah. So I think tomorrow expect another deck tech or some gameplay. So thanks, guys. Peace.